Hello everyone, the Worm is back with some more 999. Last time we had a double whammy of escape rooms. We did the first class cabin and then we did the casino. And we've been going along with our boys Seven and Snake. The S crew, I guess. And we've been going at a brisk pace, I guess. Next we'll be opening up this grate over here and presumably moving down toward where the hospital room is. We've yet to meet up with the others, but we will probably do that pretty soon. One thing I'm very curious about is whether or not we're going to be able to, well, either prevent Snake's death or at least be able to witness it or to investigate it. That's a pretty big event in this story, so being closer to Snake should allow us to, get a view on this that we weren't able to get before. So let's continue on, shall we? Junpei and his companions ran out of the casino into a large open room. A room, in fact, that they had been in once before. There was little to surprise them there. They already knew what their next step had to be.
This way.
There are a few loose ends at the moment. Seven, I'm sure, is still hiding something. And we left behind a safe or a lockbox or something in the first class cabin. But interestingly, Seven he barred the door. No, he didn't bar the door. He wedged something in to keep it open, the opposite of barring the door. And so, technically speaking, we do have a way to get back there if anyone would ever remember to go back there. I guess Seven is keeping that in mind, but he's not talking to us about it if he is. He kind of just did that and kind of brushed it off as saying, oh, well, if we ever want to go back, but he didn't specify why, and we just kind of went along with it. So yeah, we'll just have to see if that ever comes back into the story. Well, if Seven ever has something he shouldn't, or got something and we don't know where he got it from, I think that would probably be a good bet that he went back and got it from that safe somehow. So let's keep that in mind, shall we? The iron gate still stood in place, locked tight, blocking the stairway, and right in the center of it,
The keyhole with the Venus symbol. The Venus key should work here.
am I recording? It looks like it. Hopefully I am. Wasting no time, he pulled it out and shoved it into the keyhole. He turned it. With the distinctive sound of metal on metal, he felt the lock click open.
It sounds like it did. All right, let's get this thing open.
No problem. Let me help with this one.
Junpei grabbed the handle on the left side, and Seven took the handle on the right. On Junpei's signal, they both pushed, and the gate creaked open.
It sounds as though you have opened it. We should be able to reach C deck now, I imagine.
Snake, are you gonna be alright? I mean, the stairs.
Please, do not do yourself the embarrassment of underestimating me. I would be unlikely to trip even if I were running backwards.
Good to hear. Let's move.
Yeah, and something we learned about Snake is he has a very, what would it be, high opinion of himself. He likes to display his knowledge and, I wouldn't say outright bragging, but he does, because he doesn't seem, it's not really negative yet. Like, it's not like he looks down on us, but he definitely likes to present himself as capable and knowledgeable, which from what we've seen so far, he does seem to be collected and knowledgeable. So, yeah. At Seven's words, they leapt onto the stairs and jogged quickly down them. In no time at all, they found themselves on C deck.
Everything looks okay here.
We should check the next deck down, just in case.
When he reached the water, he called back up to Snake and Seven.
Just what I thought. D-deck is completely underwater.
Just like the bottom of the central staircase.
The surface of the water below them was flat, like a mirror.
I'm just glad the water level hasn't changed much.
Back to the C deck then.
Now, how about we check out what's here?
They began searching all around and taking stock of what was on C deck.
There are 2 elevators over there, which means it's probably the same upstairs.
There's a card reader between them.
I think this one was Mercury.
And another weird mark.
Hey, check it out. It's the symbol for Lotus.
What?
See? It's got the woman symbol, and then it's got the devil horns, right?
Yes, Junpei, very clever.
Yeah, I see it. No two ways about it.
This makes me wonder how it was when, what was it, on A deck, Clover, Seven, and Lotus went together. I think it was what would it have been? It would have been, yeah, door 1, because if you combine Clover, Seven, and Lotus, it gets to 1. So it was door 1, and those 3 went together, you know. Unfortunately, Clover disappeared at some point, but you have to imagine before that, Seven and Lotus probably were not getting along.
That was a pretty good one, kid.
Seven tousled Junpei's hair in what he likely thought to be a friendly manner. Junpei feared his neck might break, even though it was clear Seven had kept his strength in check.
Oh, would you watch it, man? Whoa, that hurts. You're gonna break my neck.
What are you talking about? The human body ain't that weak.
Seven doesn't seem to know his own strength, it seems.
Maybe this'll toughen you up, huh?
If we were looking for a devil, we've got one right here.
Thankfully, Snake interrupted. After Junpei's observation, he'd gone over to examine the card reader.
This is a Mercury symbol.
Are you able to... is it like an indentation? Are you able to feel it?
The marks you mistook for horns are a stylized version of the wings and staff of Hermes.
Yes.
Wings and a staff. Huh. So then, she beats you with the staff until you die and go to heaven.
Exactly. Perfect. Got it in one.
Sounds like Lotus, all right.
Seven shook Junpei's head even more vigorously, and the younger man began to feel as though his brain was being jostled from the inside of his skull.
Oh, that's too much. Oh, my head.
Bad end. Junpei gets his neck snapped, and we have to start over. Junpei's stomach began churning uncomfortably.
Oh, I think I'm gonna puke.
Unless we can activate this device, I doubt the elevator will function.
In other words, we gotta find a key card with a Mercury symbol on it.
So I would assume.
Let's forget the elevators for right now. How about that hallway to the left?
Whoa, there's a bunch of doors.
There were a great many doors lining both sides of the hallway. They seemed to stretch on forever, and all 3 men suddenly felt very small.
Ah, shit. We're not gonna have enough time to check all these, are we?
Maybe we can come back here later. We should check out the other side. Let's head back.
To the right of the stairs, another hallway stretched out, reaching deep into the bowels of the
To
ship.
the right this time.
After a few moments of moving briskly down the hallway, they emerged into an area roughly the same size and shape as the one at the top of the stairs. On the left side of the room, there were 4 French doors.
There are doors here too. Well, I guess it's just 4 this time.
I guess it must be a style, right? I don't know if it's what precisely that style is, but
Let's open them up, starting with the closest one there.
Okay, I'm on it.
Junpei nodded and grabbed the one closest to him. He gave it a small tug and felt it move.
Huh, it isn't locked. I'm going to open it.
Thrilled to have found another unlocked door, he threw it open. Hospital room. Junpei didn't know what to make of what he saw.
What?
He simply stood, unable to speak. Seven's eyes opened wide, and his mouth gaped. After a few long moments, Seven at last managed to speak.
Hey, what is this place? It's so huge. And empty.
A massive room stretched out in front of them, more a cavern than a room. Its vastness was oppressive, and it bore down on Seven and Junpei. It was not empty, however. The entire room was filled with lines and upon lines of beds. They were simple things, little more than pipe and thin mattresses.
Oh, there are beds everywhere.
Is this a hospital? The harsh scent in the air is reminiscent of antiseptic solution.
I think so. There are shelves in the center of the room with medicine and surgical tools.
Hey, look there. The 4 doors at the end.
3 of them were emblazoned with large single-digit numbers, made with thick red paint.
The left door says 3. The second door is blank, but the third has a 7. And the rightmost door is 8. There's no doubt. They're numbered doors.
Hey, why's that door between 3 and 7 blank? Does that mean anything?
Well, it leads back to here, after the 3 numbered doors, pretty much.
No point worrying about it right now. Let's see if these will open first.
Yeah, good idea.
3 of them threaded their way through the beds toward the back of the room. Upon reaching them, they proceed to investigate each door in turn, but to no avail.
Yep, locked. Just like I thought.
Naturally. After all, there are rules to the nonary game, and to allow these doors to open easily would violate those rules. Unless we can authenticate ourselves with the red, the numbered doors will...
Whoa, check this out.
Suddenly, Seven spoke up, interrupting Snake.
Look at the red. There's nothing on it.
Huh?
Don't you remember the red back at the main staircase? If there wasn't anyone in it, it said vacant on the little screen, remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
But this one,
There's nothing.
right? You think it's broken?
Only one way to find out.
No, nothing.
Junpei and the others put their hands on the panel, but nothing happened. The red refused to change. They tried pulling the lever, and still nothing. As they soon discovered, it wasn't only the red on the door, as they soon discovered, it wasn't only the red on door 8 that seemed to be malfunctioning.
How about the red on door 7? And door 3?
I didn't think all of them would be malfunctioning.
What does it mean?
They've got to be broken. Man, that bastard. I didn't think Zero was the kind of guy who'd screw around with something like this.
What kind of guy did you think Zero was?
Whoa. Zero's been prepared for everything so far, and you're saying he's gonna make a mistake now?
Well, that's the only thing I can think of. This thing ain't working at all.
While Junpei and Seven talked, Snake busied himself with examining the red. After a time, he lowered his hands and spoke.
It seems as if some of the internal hardware has been removed.
Internal hardware?
That is what I said. Take a look at the underside of this red, if you please.
The bottom?
Junpei obliged and bent over to look at the underside of the device.
Huh, there's a thin slot here. I think it's a slot for something. Probably electronic.
Something here?
The other 2 reds are the same. Something's been removed from all 3 of them.
I get it. So the reds aren't working because somebody pulled out their guts.
So I assume.
But why? And who? I mean, it really doesn't make sense.
I have no idea. Why on earth would I know something like that?
One thought that occurs to me is that maybe the components were hidden somewhere, but they were hidden with something, and then whatever that person who found the electronics found, whatever was with the electronics, convinced them to, do something, essentially. to Snake, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to say. Because we, on the last playthrough, weren't able to... we didn't see or hear about the discovery of the electronics. We just came back and they were there. It makes me think, what if that's what's in the lockbox? What if that's what's in the safe? The electronics? That could be something. Just then, they heard the sound of a door opening.
Oh, what now?
The three of them turned and saw Akane. Oh no, Junpei thought, it's...
June!
She stopped short, surprised to see them, and was very nearly bowled over by the rest of her companions who were coming through the door behind her.
Ace! Santa! Clover! And Lotus!
Hey guys, good to see you're all safe.
Guess everyone's here.
Junpei and Seven were, for the moment, at a loss for words.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking... that lockbox, you know? What's the, how many numbers is the passcode for that lockbox? Is it 3? Three numbers? What if it's 3, 7, and 8? I think it's a shame that we didn't investigate that thing earlier, but let's think about that then. Because if it's that lockbox that has the electrical equipment, that would mean certainly Ace, not Clover. Ace and Seven were both there. And so what, during the search, where we were searching the hallway, did one of them say, hey, remember that lockbox in the room? And of course Seven wedged the door open. What if Seven, Ace, and Snake went back and went to open that lockbox, and they were able to do it? And maybe there was something else in there? I'm definitely more suspicious of Ace than I am of Seven, but Seven is definitely hiding something. So,
Why are you...
That's my line?
Perhaps we should exchange information.
Okay. After a moment of silence and surprise, everyone suddenly began to talk, desperate to exchange information. They talked about the rooms they'd been through, and how they ended up in the same place. Of course, none of it was very useful information, but that hardly mattered. They were happy to simply see one another again. Although the level of cheer varied greatly from person to person, each one of them was wearing some manner of smile, almost as though they had already forgotten about the death of the ninth man. No, thought Junpei, perhaps that wasn't it. Perhaps thoughts of his death were what drove them to smile at one. Okay, this is sounding familiar. I think some of this is pretty similar to what we've read before. Not in a morbid or hateful way, no. The ninth man had died, but they were still alive, and that was something to be happy about. A sort of simple, uncomplicated joy, Junpei thought, the joy of being alive. Still alive. Yeah, I've read this before, or something very similar to it. He felt sorry for the ninth man, but more than anything, Junpei was happy to be alive. Okay.
And that's what we know.
With that, Junpei finished his own explanation.
Well, this isn't good. If the red is inactive, we can't keep going.
What about that big hallway? Maybe there's somewhere in there we might be able to go.
No, there's nothing there. The 5 of us had a quick look. There are plenty more hospital rooms, but nothing else.
You mean all those doors are for hospital rooms?
Yes. There are a number of individual rooms in addition to this large one.
There was a door at the end of the hallway, but it was locked.
It had one of those solar system mark things on it.
It was the Jupiter symbol.
Jupiter was for the... had a key, yeah.
Jupiter.
I wonder what it means.
Confusion seemed to be the consensus.
While we're asking what things mean, what's the deal with this room? I mean, I thought this was a cruise ship, but I can't imagine a cruise ship would have a hospital like this.
No one, not even Snake, appeared to be ready to offer an explanation until 7 unexpectedly. One thing I was wondering is that, so 7 had amnesia, but he knew about the gigantic. Maybe one rationale I had for it was that maybe he learned about the gigantic from something he found in the first class cabin of the casino. But having now played this route, we now know that no, there was nothing about the gigantic there. So I think 7 just knows this.
Well, I figure it's probably a hospital ship. Chances are it's the gigantic.
Yeah, okay, where is this coming from? Why do you have this knowledge?
The gigantic?
Junpei looked at 7, shocked both by his knowledge and the apparent identity of their prison. He was not the only one.
What is this gigantic?
7 nodded at Lotus and began to speak.
The gigantic. She was a sister ship to the Titanic, built in the early 20th century. Actually, the Titanic had 2 sister ships, and they looked exactly the same. The gigantic was said to be one of them. They intended to make her a passenger liner like the Titanic, but World War I began soon after the ship launched. The British Navy took her over and made her a hospital ship. At some point during the war, the gigantic was damaged by a German mine in the Aegean Sea. She ran aground afterwards, so she didn't end up sunk. What happened to her after that? One theory going around is that a man named Lord Gordain bought her. Seemed like he'd been one of the few to survive the Titanic sinking. That trauma turned him into some kind of obsessive collector of all things related to the Titanic. Soon enough, the guy wanted the Titanic itself, which was impossible, of course. It's stuck at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, but the gigantic wasn't. And seeing as she was identical...
So you're saying this Lord Gordain bought this ship?
Yeah, at least I think I am.
That's impossible. No way we're in some boat that's almost 100 years old.
Pipe down, just pay attention. What, that's it? Well, have you got any proof?
Proof?
Proof that this ship is really the gigantic.
Well, this ship's got stuff that's like the Titanic and a hospital ship. So, I just figured...
Oh, for goodness. Don't tell me that's your only reason.
No, I've got more.
Like?
Well, I mean...
7 looked around desperately, doing anything to avoid meeting Lotus's piercing stare. He scratched his head for a moment, then gave up. Finally, he opened his mouth.
I don't know.
Lotus sighed and shook her head. What if you know? Because you're Zero and you set this up and you know exactly where we are.
I guess your memory isn't back yet, is it?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Then, almost as if to save 7 from further embarrassment, a bell began to ring from far away. Yeah, I guess my most suspicious people, it's gotta be Ace, Santa, and I guess 7. 7 seems, well, it's just, oh, man. But I can't pin, like, one of the 3 as, say, like, the most suspicious. But definitely those 3 are the most suspicious. Those 3. I'm pretty sure everyone other than those 3 are completely innocent. But those 3, man.
Oh. A bell.
It sounds like the clock in the main stairway.
Junpei counted each chime carefully.
10, 11, 12. 12.
It's midnight.
Then we've still got 6 hours left, right?
Let's get going. We gotta find the missing parts for the Reds.
What do you mean, find? How on earth do you propose we do that?
We've looked everywhere in this room.
They had been examining the room as they talked.
But we haven't found anything.
Right.
That only leaves one place to look.
One?
Well, not just one.
Uh-huh.
Wait. Don't tell me you mean we need to search all of the other rooms.
Well, you already checked some of them out before you came here, right?
We each checked a single room, so 5 rooms in total.
All right, then. That's 5 rooms we don't have to search. We just have to split up the rest between the 8 of us.
Now here's another thing. 7 is the one suggesting this plan. Again, that's not conclusive, but he's having us split up and go to different doors. And I think it takes like I believe this whole segment of us searching takes like an hour or at least a half hour. So a good amount of time for something to happen does occur here.
If each of us can do 6 rooms apiece, we'll have the other 48 rooms cleared in no time.
There are 48 other rooms?
Did you count that, Seven? Lotus did not seem excited by the prospect. Seven fidgeted nervously before responding.
Maybe?
Yeah, that seemed a bit exact. Like, how do you have... Not only do you know of the Gigantic and Lord Gordain and all that, you know exactly the amount of rooms on this level? Or this area of the ship? After some discussion, the 8 of them decided which rooms to begin with and in what order they would go. Junpei was chosen to search the rooms on the starboard side, moving from fore to aft. And they even decided who would go where, so if someone was doing this for nefarious reasons, they would know who was where at what time.
All right, so everyone knows which area they're searching?
Yeah.
Yes!
They also determined when they would return to report their findings. The next time the clock sounded the time, so yes, an hour. When it did, they would meet back at the large central room full of beds.
We'll all meet up when the clock goes off again. How about in that room with all the beds?
Yeah. Sounds straightforward enough.
If, during their search, any one of them were to locate the missing components, they were to yell for the others.
I'll shout if I find any of the components we need.
I hope we can find them within the time limit.
If this strategy failed, they'd return to discuss their options later. Sorry, Snake. I think no one's suggesting anything different, so I think you're probably doomed.
If we can't, then we'll just have to come up with another plan.
Right. Then let's do this.
The details decided, they left to begin searching. Out into the hallway they went, each to the rooms they'd been assigned. However, from far away, Junpei heard the bell ring. What is it? Ask not for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. Well, I think it's tolling for Snake right now. It did so only once. It was 1 a.m.
It's 1. I better get back to the others.
He jogged through the entrance of the large hospital room to find 6 of the others already there. 6. So yeah, Snake's missing.
Huh?
Same thing. Ace, Santa, Clover, June, 7, and Lotus. They had gathered in front of the door number 8. Or perhaps to be accurate, they had gathered in front of the red next to door number 8.
What are they doing over there?
Had one of them found a missing piece?
What happened, guys?
It was June who answered him.
Jumpy, look!
She was pointing at the red. He pushed through the others until he stood in front of it. Immediately he knew. Yeah, now I'm suspicious of 7. Yeah. Yeah, so my working theory is... My working theory is that the electronic components were in that lockbox that 7 conveniently left the path open to. And what? Did he at some point during our search go up to Snake and said, "Hey, Snake, do you want to go back and check that lockbox that we weren't able to open before?" And he went with him. And the thing is, if this goes to like who's 0 and are there multiple zeros? Because I only saw 2 of those symbols. This is kind of depressing. So it looks like no matter what we do, Snake's just doomed. That kind of sucks. It's a bit of a downer, is what I'm saying.
Vacant?
Junpei sighed.
Come on, guys. Who was it? I thought we were supposed to yell if we found it.
Well,
Junpei wondered why she was hesitating. The others looked as confused as June, but kept their mouths shut.
What the hell? What is up with you guys?
They all knew something he didn't, and Junpei wasn't about to leave things that way. What was the, No, doesn't work. What was the combo that did work? Yeah, that was a combo that worked. Santa, 7, and Ace. Yeah, Santa. So, Santa's one of my suspicious people. So, could have been them. Could have been Santa and 7. They went with Snake to the lockbox, got the stuff. Then they went back to the hospital room and they tossed him in there. So, again, I can never be sure about anything, but, you know, it could be fun to speculate, it could be fun to guess. So here's my speculation. I'm guessing Santa and 7 killed Snake. Don't know particularly why. Of course, if they're 0 and they're trying to sabotage us, that would certainly be a good way to do it. But for some reason, I'm thinking there has to be a particular reason why. Maybe Snake figured it out. Maybe he realized, wait a second, why are you guys doing this? Or, you know, he noticed something, and then the others had to kill him. You know? Could have been something like that. Finally, Lotus frowned and spoke.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know.
You don't know?
When I got back, it was already like this. There was no one else here. That means I was the first one back, but the missing parts were already back in the red.
What? Let me see.
Junpei looked at the bottom of the red again, just to make sure. The slot had been opened. The slot that had been open on the bottom was now covered with metal.
You're right. It's in there. What about the other two?
They're the same.
Let me take a look.
Junpei quickly examined the other 2 boxes.
It's just as you said.
You know, this whole thing could be pretty much avoided if we decided to search in pairs. But again, 7 is able to kind of convince us to just go search alone because of the expediency, the speed argument. He said, if we all do 6 at a time, that'll be the quickest. So he convinces us to do that. Yeah. Satisfied that they were repaired, satisfied that they were also repaired, but still very confused, he returned to the others.
Alright, I just want to be sure here. Nobody has any idea what the hell happened here, right?
Correct.
none.
Ace and June nodded silently. 7 raised his hand as if to say, not me, and Santa just shrugged. Only Clover lowered her head and did nothing.
Wait a minute.
That was when he noticed.
Where's Snake?
Junpei stepped his eyes across the room for a second time. Snake was never seen.
Does that mean that he found them?
I've no idea. There's nothing to suggest it, but nothing to suggest he didn't either.
I don't suppose we'll know until we can ask him in person.
Well, whatever he did or didn't do is pretty damn late. What the hell is he up to?
Maybe he's lost.
I just had a thought. When we were searching for Snake, you know, in the last playthrough, were we allowed to go to the first class cabin? I know we were allowed to like go to the casino. I don't think we did. I don't think we actually went inside it. But we were allowed to at least like go to where the door is. But were we allowed to even go to the first class cabin? Maybe we were. Was that where Clover was? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'd have to.
That seems likely. Dude can't see. I don't know how he gets around in the first place.
I'd have to go back and check. Clover raised her head.
No! That's impossible!
Suddenly she was shouting.
Yeah, my brother's blind, but he's got really great hearing. He can get around as well as anyone who can see. So he couldn't get lost. That's impossible!
Yeah, if we consider that the same events happened as last time, then he's behind door 3. Clover started snaking on her knuckles, her hand got white. She spun around, but before she did, Junpei noticed tears welling up in her eyes.
I'm gonna go look for him!
The words were barely out of her mouth. I think this is like all the same stuff. And I was told that I could skip until I got to new dialogue and that the game would stop me. Is that right? So let's see if I can... Because we're just going to go to searching for Snake, right? Okay. Yes. Now, we are going to absolutely go to the first class cabin.
Oh, what about the first class cabin on B deck?
Okay, let's go, Jumpy.
They took off at the stairs at a run. Outside the first class cabin, they found Clover. Yeah, okay, so we were able to go there. It was just Clover that was in front of it. She was doing some she just gets upset. What if we just leave her alone this time? So much that probably wasn't in the much mood to talk. He leaned over, whispered.
Maybe we should leave her alone.
Yes, I think you're right.
They turned and walked quietly down the stairs. Clover had driven home the misery of the situation.
We really need...
Yep.
So, where do you think...
Now, the casino...
Let's go take a look.
Now, if this is the same as last time, there's going to be Lotus.
Hey, what...
Isn't it obvious?
I'm just not...
Really?
I don't think that...
Oh,
Okay.
but I've got a...
All right, let's hear what she has to say this time around.
What is it?
Well, I don't like to beat around the bush, so I'll get right to it. Why don't we team up?
Team up?
Yeah. What? You need me to explain it to you? I'm saying, why don't we go through a numbered door?
Even if we wanted to, that's impossible.
Why?
Jumpy's bracelet number is 5, mine is 6, and yours is 8.
That's 10.
Our
Or
digital
no, 1.
route would
Excuse
be
me.
1.
10. Forgot how digital route worked for a second. Yeah, 1. So we haven't found 1 yet. But we do know where it is. In the future, we could do that.
But there's no number 1 door in the large hospital room. The only doors there are 3, 7, and 8.
Then we add another person.
Huh?
Who?
What? Isn't that easy? 7.
Oh, if we add 7, 5 plus 6 plus 8 plus 7 equals 26. The digital root of 26, 2 plus 6 equals 8.
Then the 4 of them could go through number 8 door.
Wait a minute.
But
What about the other 4? Ace, Snake, Santa, and Clover.
see, here's something I've been thinking about now. So the 3, 7, and 8, when I was going through my first playthrough, like, we had the option to go through 3, and I just thought it was crazy. Because at least my experience of going through numbered doors up to that point was we just move on to a new area. And that was that whole thing with Ace being left behind and why that was such a big deal. We didn't know that the doors lead back to the hospital room. So now that I know that, I think I'm going to go with door 3 this time because obviously that's where Snake is. But it's going to be interesting because it's going to be made to seem like we're leaving people behind, but we know that's absolutely not the case now. So it should be interesting.
Well, why don't you add them up?
That was simple
1
enough.
plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. And 1 plus 0 equals 1. The digital root for those 4 would be 1.
That's right.
And you know the number 1 door isn't in the big hospital room, right?
Of course I know that.
No! Are you saying you'd leave them behind?
Of course not. What kind of woman do you think I am? Once we get off the ship, we could come back and rescue them, couldn't we?
Oh, hey. There's that idea.
Then we wouldn't really be leaving them behind.
Don't try to lie to us. I don't think you do anything of the sort.
Of course, this plan is all kind of weird because, I mean, if you should be paying attention, Lotus. Eventually, we have to go through a 9-door. Oh wait, excuse me. I mean, Lotus, eventually we have to go through a 9-door, and you'd be left behind, right? Is there no way to... Yeah. There's no... I mean, if she's really trying to think ahead... If only us 4 go forward, eventually, if we need to go through a 9-door, only June, Junpei, and 7 would be able to go through it. So you'd be left behind eventually, too. So, I'm not sure about that plan of yours. At least, the plan makes it out that she doesn't want to get left behind herself, right? I don't know.
Really? Why do you think that?
You remember, don't you? We have less than 5 hours left. Even if we manage to escape, there's no way we could come back to rescue them in less than 5 hours.
Well, you never know until you try.
No, you're not thinking this through. Even if we brought 7 with us, we wouldn't be able to get off the ship. The 4 of us couldn't open door 9. It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
Yeah, that's right. The digital route for the 4 of us would be 8, so we'd have to add Ace to make 9.
That's right. Unless we bring Ace too, we'll be stuck.
Or unless we drop you. Lotus scratched the back of her ear.
Well, that's
Okay.
unfortunate.
So, yeah, she wasn't thinking it through to the end.
Unfortunate. That's all you have to say?
She didn't sound particularly bothered by what Junpei said. Nor did she seem particularly surprised.
Well, let's try and find another way, okay? A way to get out of here with all 8 of us.
That's impossible. Are you being serious? And you do know that only 5 people, at most, can go through one of the numbered doors, right? The number 9 isn't going to be an exception to that rule. Regardless, at least 3 people will get left behind.
Huh?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
The moment he said it, Junpei felt a chill run down his spine.
Oh, wait just a second. You're skipping over a really big detail.
Yes, what she said was true, but how Lotus could remain cavalier about so terrifying a prospect was beyond
Is
him.
that really okay? That means 3 people will die in the end. Are you okay with that?
Lotus definitely seems cavalier. I kind of had her and Santa similar in that sense. But, we know what happens to Lotus. She gets murdered, so that kind of, for me, clears her in a sense.
That's just...
Lotus's forehead, furrowed.
Do you think I could have a moment alone? There are some things I need to think about.
Junpei and Chun-Turner began walking away.
That didn't turn out to be a very pleasant conversation.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did it from last time. Junpei's heart felt heavy and his step sluggish, but he told himself pessimism would get it. Pessimism would get him nowhere.
Regardless,
So for some small turn around.
let's just focus on finding Snake for now, okay?
Yes, you're right. We can think about those other things later.
It's so unfortunate that Clover is in front of the first class cabin and sends you away, because we should definitely, like, the casino's one thing, maybe it locks after you leave, but the first class cabin, we know now, should be still open because of the thing wedged in the door. So it kind of sucks that we can't investigate.
Yeah.
Junpei nodded.
All right. Where should we go next? Let's go take a look.
And we still can't get by.
No one, maybe, but where?
Wow, Clover's not even here, and we don't investigate the room.
Hey, why don't we go back? We can take a...
Okay.
It's a darn shame.
Oh! It's...
Hey, Snake! Where are you? Answer me!
Well, I kind of want to hear him say what he said before.
Let's go.
Ah, hello there. Snake is... I assume you haven't found him yet?
Yeah.
I really want...
Well,
Right.
By the way, do you think Clover and Snake
This conversation.
are really siblings?
why would you say that?
Why would you say that? Question seems somehow odd to
Why?
Junpei.
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? They don't look alike at all.
Ace looked at him for a moment and then spoke.
Yes, you know, now that you mention it, they don't.
Now that you mention it,
Still, there are a great many siblings who do not look like one another. It certainly isn't rare.
Junpei wasn't sure why, or even if he was seeing what he thought he was, but he could have sworn that Ace's face tightened as he spoke.
At any rate, we really must find Snake as soon as the clock is ticking. We really... Barry, you can leave this area.
All right. Let's go.
Something like Ace said, finding Snake is our top priority.
Something about that was...
All right, where should we go next?
And obviously there's gonna
Let's
be
go
nothing
take a look.
left here.
Okay, let's go.
Let's try. Hey,
Sure.
hey, wait.
And then there's... Oh, and of course, Santa's standing out in front of the 3-door, and he gives this sort of, you can't trust anyone, guys. Is it because he knows that Snake's on the other side of that door?
Santa?
See what he says?
What are you...
What? You can't tell?
Why?
What? It's not bothering you?
Huh?
This... Why wouldn't you wonder who the hell...
Yeah. Well, I'm curious.
Who do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
What about you,
Snake?
Well, maybe he got back and he found the parts.
No. You have to authenticate with at least 3 people. Or there's no way a single person...
Yeah, So, one of us.
Bingo! We have...
But if that... Then the person who did it doesn't want the rest of us to know that.
Yeah.
But
No idea. Maybe if they can...
something bad?
Something bad.
Dunno.
Hmm.
Of course, it could have something to do...
You think maybe...
Yeah.
But of course, again, this is that thing is, why would the murder draw attention to this idea?
Look, if you trust, it's gotta be the person...
And this is from that discussion we had a while back. If Zero's doing this game, part of it is to turn us against one another. This conversation is definitely helping to do that. So it's either he's in on it and is trying to make people distrust each other, or he's inadvertently doing that.
And that's that.
Why is this white?
Why don't we go check?
All right.
No one's... Maybe... But where? Hey, we can...
Okay.
Nobody. Let's look.
But where?
Why don't we go back?
Okay.
I don't think...
Let's just finish.
That Snake hasn't been... And we can't keep looking for him. Wherever he is, it's not here. We need to get moving.
Okay, let's just go to the next decision. She was right. It wasn't pleasant, but she was right. Yeah, so this is new dialogue, because when I do control is the hotkey for this, it doesn't let me go to skip. So this is new, yeah.
Then, you're saying...
Yes, given our circumstances, if the other 6 are to survive.
No, that's too...
What's so cruel about it?
To just sacrifice someone?
Of course,
What about you,
because we now know that, you know, the third or the second door there leads back to here. That if Ace knows, then obviously he can say, if he wants people to move on, he can say, hey, just let me stay here. Because he knows they're eventually going to come back, you know? Okay. Okay. I think I'll end it here. I think there's this decision and then there's the actual decision, but I'm gonna stop here. Because next time we should get, because I'm gonna go through door 3. You know, because we know now what's on the other side of all these doors. So I am going to investigate Snake's corpse. Absolutely. I will not allow anyone to get in my way in that regard. So we'll do that. Yeah, so we just we didn't do any escape room stuff today. Just moved on in the story. And I think we've, this episode has certainly upped 7 on my suspicion meter. And I think I have an idea of what happened to 7 now, or excuse me, Snake. Yeah, I think I have an idea, and I think it has to do with that lockbox in the first class cabin. So, time will tell if I'm right, I guess. Yeah, okay. Let's do this. Alrighty, good episode today, I think. Hope you're all doing well, and I've been The Worm, and this has been 999. Hope to see you next time.